All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT practice questions series, where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. The link is in the comments below. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. A teacher reports that Clyde does not stay focused while sitting in his desk in the classroom. You are asked to record how long Clyde is staying focused during math time and reading time while sitting at his desk. Afterwards, you will graph the data. What measurement are you most likely using? We have a measurement question, and as always, with a measurement question, we want to know what are we measuring. What we measure is going to help us determine what type of measurement we use, because the measurement we use is based on the behavior and based on our goals. We know that Clyde does not stay focused while sitting in his desk. You want to record how long Clyde is staying focused during math time and reading time. Now, this idea of recording how long is very important because typically our measurements can record two different things. They can record an amount, such as a frequency count or a rate, or we can record time, things like duration and interresponse time. Now, in this case, we want to know how long Clyde is staying focused. So we're looking at an amount of time. So that's going to help us answer this question. So what measurement do we most likely think we're using? A, event recording. Event recording usually occurs during a functional behavior assessment, and it's essentially just frequency recording. You're essentially just recording how often something happens. We're not looking at a count here, right? We're looking at how long something happens. So we're looking at the time of something. And what we're looking at specifically is the duration. You want to know the duration that Clyde is staying focused during math time. Duration is the length of time of a response. What about rate? Well, rate involves frequency. And when you don't have frequency, you can't have rate. You need a count to calculate rate. If you don't have a count, you can't have rate. And then whole interval recording. Whole interval recording is a discontinuous measurement procedure where we're only taking a sample of the time and then we're breaking that into intervals. We don't have a sample here and we don't have intervals, therefore we cannot be using whole interval recording. The measurement we're most likely using is B, duration. We are recording the length of time Clyde is staying focused, the duration of Clyde's focus. An 8-year-old boy starts to engage in aggression while transitioning between activities. Now, Travis is providing the boy toy trucks if the boy is calm for 3 minutes following the transition. After 2 weeks, the boy is now calm during transitions. What did Travis use? So we're looking specifically at Travis's behavior. And remember, when we are doing behavior questions, we want to know who are we looking at. Because in this case, we have the 8-year-old boy and we have Travis. Some questions might have more than one person. They might have more than two. Always identify who is the question asking about. And this question is asking about Travis. So what do we know about Travis? Well, we know the 8-year-old boy is engaging in aggression while transitioning. So Travis is giving the boy toy trucks if the boy is calm for 3 minutes. So just looking at this, we can try to think about, well, Travis seems to be wanting to increase the boy being calm, right? If the boy is calm, he gets toy trucks. That's our contingency. What do we know happens as a result of giving the toy trucks? Well, after 2 weeks, the boy is now calm during transitions. So the behavior was calm, and we would in practice define that better, but we're just using the information given. So the behavior was calm. The consequence was given toy trucks. As a result, calm increased. Now, when a behavior increases as a result of a consequence, what was the consequence? Well, it was reinforcement. Reinforcement increases, and then we have punishment and extinction, which decrease. So given all that, what do we know Travis used? A, Travis used punishment to decrease aggression. Now be careful, okay? We know the boy was engaging in aggression, but we're not talking about aggression for the consequence. The consequence was given if the boy was calm. We don't talk about aggression anymore. We're talking about calmness, which increased. And since the calmness increased, it couldn't have been punishment. Same as extinction. We're no longer talking about the aggression. We're talking about giving the toy trucks for being calm, which led to calmness increasing. So Travis was using positive reinforcement to increase calm behavior. Travis did not use punishment. The only consequence we see here is giving the toy trucks. And the toy trucks led to an increase in calmness, which makes those positive reinforcement. And so Travis used positive reinforcement to increase calm behavior. This is a trickier consequence question. So if you got it right, fantastic. If not, that's okay. Review it and work through it and understand it. Jack introduces himself to his new client and then asks the client if they want to go play in their room. The client agrees and starts to play. While the client is playing, Jack is taking notes on what the client is engaging with. What is Jack likely doing? So again, we're looking at Jack, and what is Jack doing? Because we have Jack and the client. The question is asking about Jack. So we know Jack has a new client, and Jack tells the client or asks the client if they want to play in their room. The client agrees and starts to play. While the client is playing, what is Jack doing? Well, he's taking notes on what the client is engaging with. Now, sit and think about why we might take notes on what a client engages with, especially a new client. What would be the purpose of that? What are we trying to do? A functional behavior assessment. When we talk about a functional behavior assessment, we're talking about a full plan where we're trying to analyze the environment, we're analyzing indirect data, we're trying to figure out the functions. It's a full comprehensive assessment. Jack is simply sitting and taking notes on what the client is engaging with. So he's not doing a full FBA here. What about a functional analysis? Well, a functional analysis is the highest level of assessment where we are actually determining the function. We're manipulating antecedents, we're manipulating consequences to determine the function of a behavior. Jack is not doing any of these things, so B is out. C, a reinforcer assessment. Now, think about the difference between a reinforcer assessment and a preference assessment. What is the difference? A preference assessment identifies potential reinforcers. After we identify those potential reinforcers, then we actually do the reinforcer assessment to see if they have reinforcing properties. A preference assessment does not identify actual reinforcers, only potential. And so if Jack is only taking notes on what the client is engaging with, he's not actually looking at how the behavior is changing. He's simply seeing what is the client preferring? What does the client like? So Jack is likely only doing a preference assessment. Following the preference assessment, Jack will then take what was preferred in his notes and then try to do a reinforcer assessment to try to identify reinforcers. An extinction procedure that called for refusing to provide the client with a snack when the client asked for a snack effectively eliminated the asking for snack behavior. 3 weeks later, the client asked for a snack the entire day on Monday. What should be done in response to this behavior? All right, let's think about this, right? Because we're looking at how are we going to respond to the behavior? Because what happened? What do we know? We know an extinction procedure. And what is extinction? Extinction is withholding reinforcement for a previously reinforced behavior to reduce the behavior. And so an extinction procedure refused to provide the client with the snack, which eliminated asking for snack behavior. So more or less, the extinction procedure was effective. The behavior was asking for snack. The consequence or the reinforcement was getting the snack. And so when we put it on extinction, we no longer provided the snack. Great, extinction was effective. However, 3 weeks later, the client is now asking for a snack the entire day on Monday. Now, why might that happen? Why might we put a behavior on extinction successfully, we might add, and then all of a sudden, later on, the behavior comes back? Well, we can plan for that because we expect that. We call that spontaneous recovery, when a previously extinct behavior suddenly reemerges. Now, the question wants to know, what do you do in that scenario? What do you do when spontaneous recovery occurs? A, ignore the client when they ask for a snack. Be careful with the wording here, right? We're not ignoring the client, right? We ignore behaviors if it calls for ignoring the behavior. And we know from our previous extinction procedure that we're not ignoring the client, we're just not providing the snack. And so A is not what we want to do. If you witness spontaneous recovery, you want to go back to the previous extinction procedure that was effective in the first place. And we know that was refusing to provide the snack when the client asked. So B is going to be our response to the behavior. We already know B was effective at extinction. We already have this planned. As soon as the spontaneous recovery occurs, we put it right back on extinction, and we can expect the behavior to decrease relatively quickly. C, block the sensory stimulation of the behavior. Well, this was never an automatic behavior to begin with. It was never a sensory behavior to begin with. It was always socially mediated. So C is not going to meet our needs. And then D, perform a new functional behavior assessment. It's not quite necessary yet, right? Extinction leads to behaviors being extinct, which often result in spontaneous recovery. When that spontaneous recovery occurs, all we need to do is go back to the prior extinction procedure. If it continues, if it gets worse, maybe a new FBA is needed. But as of right now, all we have to do is to refuse to provide the snack when the client asks. I just want to reiterate A, ignoring the client, be very careful with that wording. When you're doing planned ignoring, as we call it, you're ignoring the behavior, not necessarily the client. So be very careful with that wording. Which of the following scenarios includes a continuous reinforcement schedule? So when we talk about basic reinforcement schedules, we have continuous schedules and we have intermittent schedules. A continuous schedule is an FR1. It's a fixed ratio 1. Every response is reinforced. Everything else is considered intermittent because every other reinforcement schedule involves more than one response or an extended period of time before reinforcement is given. So just keep in mind, every continuous reinforcement schedule is an FR1. Everything else is intermittent. So if the scenario is asking for a continuous reinforcement schedule, we know we're looking for a fixed ratio 1 schedule. So A, the client must answer 3 questions correctly to earn his token. Well, to me, that sounds like a fixed ratio 3, considering the client must engage in 3 correct responses to earn the token. B, the client must spell his name correctly to earn his token. That seems right because if the client must engage in a single response for reinforcement, that is continuous. B looks good. Always read all of your answer choices. C, the client earns a token after spelling his name correctly once 1 minute has passed. What kind of basic schedule involves time? Those are interval schedules. And there are no continuous interval schedules, so C is out. And then D, the client will earn a token either after 3 or 4 bites of food. This looks like a variable schedule, right? Because we have after 3 or 4, meaning it's not fixed. Variable schedules are not continuous. The only continuous schedule here is B. The client must spell his name correctly to earn his token. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already. It really helps us and you get all of our updates. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.